Hi, I'm gonna do the background study on our topic. We're gonna start with the climate change. People need to understand what climate change do. We need to raise awareness that climate change um, does natural disasters, like floods or hurricanes or earthquakes. These have increased in number so much in the last 10 years, in the last 20 years, and that was mainly because of climate change. So UTM in Malaysia have teamed up with Go Green World Organization to make this project or studies for chemical engineering freshmen to make the study on climate change and how it affects and to raise awareness to the Malaysian people on their consumerism. Moving on to consumerism, it is considered one of the biggest causes to climate change. And not as what people think that climate change is caused by organizations or by big businesses or because of cars or stuff like that. It is mainly caused by consumerism.
The objectives of our report is to perform a study on sustainable development initiatives in Malaysia and globally. It is also to determine the definition of sustainable development and the status of effort towards sustainability. With that, we will also perform a study about consumerism activity of Malaysia and compare them to the other countries in the report. This is also important to find out how it impacts sustainable development.
Sustainable development can be defined as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable development goals provide clear guidelines and targets for all countries to adopt in accordance with their own development priorities. Carbon dioxide is a phrase which describes the impact of CO2 emission that is associated with human activities directly or indirectly into the atmosphere. We simply use CO2e terms to define the total climate change impact that is mainly caused by the CO2 despite all the greenhouse gases. Climate change is defined as the average change in conditions, for instance, temperature, rainfall in a region throughout an extensive stretch of time. There are two main possible solutions on tackling climate change: mitigation and adaptation. To clearly picture how Malaysia is doing in terms of initiating sustainable development, we need to compare or in technical terms benchmark its data with other countries' data. This will help us see what to learn and what to avoid from other countries when we call for a change to save the environment in Malaysia. The definition of consumer behavior is that it is the understanding of how people choose the things that they want to consume. Consumerism activity is the act of spending or consuming valuable goods or services to achieve a certain level of satisfaction and happiness. It is noticeable that consumer behavior directly influences consumerism activity.
For the method of research, we have selected a few countries and collected statistical data on production rate of waste per capita. We had estimated that the consumerism activity would be proportional to the waste generation rate of a country because of excessive buying of the people.
Our results obtained for the four countries can be further explained based on the Sustainable Development Goal 12 indicators. We have classified each country based on the Sustainable Development Goal 12 indicators, ranging from 1 to 4. Class 1, which refers to the country with less effort toward Sustainable Development Goal 12, while Class 4 represents the country that successfully achieved Sustainable Development Goal 12. We can further say that the waste generation per capita is directly proportional to the carbon footprint or the amount of greenhouse gas produced. Based on our results, we found that Mauritius has the least Sustainable Development Goal 12 indicator and is classified as 1, followed by Malaysia being class 2 and Thailand class 2 as well, and the highest of all, South Africa, being classified as 3.
We can use the data to compare with the waste generation rate to identify the impact of consumerism to sustainability. To show a relationship between sustainability and waste generation, we have plotted a graph of SDG 12 score against the rate of waste generation. We found that there is a negative proportionality between the two. Therefore, we can say that the less waste a country produces, the more sustainable they are in consumption and production.